My name is Tree City West, here with TreeRoot.City live, hanging out on a Tuesday. Not too much going on, not too much planned for this stream. Maybe we'll see if there's a Twitter space popping off. I'm going to talk about the Root Guardian NFT mint that's happening. Finally over 80%, so we're definitely making some leeway there. And yeah, we're just doing the thing. So just to get started, let me make sure we're live over on X. If you could come over to X, give Tree City West and TreeRoot Dev a follow. Let's just make sure we are live. Give me 1 second here. So let's take a look. Tree City West. Hey, there we are here. So cool. Get that text off the screen. Perfect. All right, and then over on YouTube as well, let's make sure we're live and popping over there. Everything's all good. Yeah, TreeRoot.City live. Text off the screen. Awesome. Well, now let's get the tweet out. So just like everything with this Root ecosystem that we've been building, everything we're doing is live on stream. So about 20 minutes ago, we started streaming over on pump.fun. We made the thumbnail for the stream. Now we're tweeting out that we're live. Let's make sure we grab this link as well. We're tweeting out, mute this. And we're just doing everything live as we go. Tree City West. We are live on Pump Fun, YouTube, and X. Come hang. Root for Root. Come hang and root for Root. There we go. Come chill. Come grow and root for Root. All right, I like it. We're live on Pump Fun. Oh yeah, we need the Pump Fun link for sure. For sure. Awesome. Cool. So now I go over to Telegram, let the TG know. We are live on Pump, YouTube, and X. All right. Cool. Got it pinned in the TG, guys. But definitely head over to X, give the stream a retweet. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're God damn, I can't get these words out. If you're on Pump Fun, make sure you buy the damn coin. Hell yeah. All right. So just like I was mentioning, all along the way, we've been working on this project, building it all live on stream. We built the website live on day one. Right before that, we graduated. We applied for CoinGecko and CoinPaprika, all within the first couple days. Then we started vibe coding a script to generate images with our local AI setup and our AI server down in the basement. And we generated an NFT collection of our TreeRoot Guardians, and that's currently minting out. And just along the way, we've been building and adding value. And we actually have a treasury that we've built up from the NFT mint, a couple $1,000 plus. We have 50 million Root tokens that's going to go to the staking pool for the NFTs. So as soon as the mint ends, we'll have 50 million Root tokens ready for the staking pool. And yeah, so that's the main focus right now. The mint's currently at 712 of 888. And every time I check it, it's creeping up there. So yesterday we were excited to be over 50%, then 60%. All of a sudden I wake up and we're over 80% sold. So that's really awesome. See some of the Fire Chicken guys claim some more. That's great to see. We're up to 195 public mints, and all of these funds go directly back into the project. So doing things like paying for the services that we're using. Like notice we're actually a verified account on Twitter. That was paid for. The DEX was paid for. We're going to be paying for marketing and applications for different things, and really trying to build an organic community that can rally around root and grow from the roots up. So that's the whole goal here. So what are we doing? Got to get out of sales pitch mode. I'm just trying to chill, honestly. Let's see here. Get my other window loaded up here. Okay, perfect. Cool. So yeah, it all started with root. So if you come over to TreeRoot on pump.fun, you can see we've been along for a pretty crazy ride so far. Day one graduation, completely unexpected. And then we did the meme coin thing where we ran up, made all-time high after all-time high. Let's look at the daily chart here, and you can kind of see. So this first dev buy and dev sell, this was actually us paying for the DEX. So we started with the treasury of 60 million. We sold 3 million to pay for the DEX, and that's exactly what that dev sell is there. And everything else we've just been holding in the treasury. So currently with the NFT sales, we're up to 9 Solana. So we've made 9 Solana off the NFT mint. That's going to go right back into this project. And it's not going to be like direct buy and burns. We might do a little buy and burn to do root giveaways and get the token out there. We've also been doing Galaxy quests. So we'll be running some more of those, giving away more tokens in the Xolana ecosystem like Zend and ZenCAD and, you know, all the things. So obviously we had that crazy run up, 200K all-time high, and then boom. A lot of FUD happened. The whole KJP fallout happened. A bunch of really nasty people just really trying to wreck everyone's day. And they got out of the project. And that's kind of where we're at. So you see this big wick down, then they buy back, and then they dump it again. We have our natural floor here. So like this is kind of where we're at. We might go lower, but there's not much more lower we can go. It's way more likely to go higher from here. And that's when you start to see these wicks on the daily. So these are tokens redistributing. So it, you know, it wicks down, and then the tokens come into new hands, and then old hands sell, and then new hands buy it up. So now you notice we're starting to get these wicks, and you know you can call these ones tweezer bottoms, where there's two similar sized, and it's almost like tweezers, and there's tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms, and usually that's a sign of a reversal. So I'm not saying, you know, a reversal might be, you know, just going sideways for a while, but seeing this pattern, that's bullish. That means people are sending it down and it's getting eaten back up. So, you know, it's kind of has this floor between 35 and 40 that looks pretty natural, and we're just going to continue to build from here. We definitely have an advantage over other pump fund tokens. We're streaming every day. We got a community baked in. We're taking this coin over to X1. So we got lots going on, lots to do here. So what are we doing? So not only do we have the 50 million root tokens for the NFT staking treasury, we also added some, shout out to Crypto Bro, white CDJ. So we got 25 million white CDJ in the treasury that we got. And then we also have some KJP left over for a giveaway. So we do have 500K KJP to give away. This was 20 bucks recently, but it's currently down to $12 after some crazy. That's kind of the name of the game with KJP. It's just this ridiculous price manipulation. You know, whoever this is. Yeah, they were back here and then they were down here. That sucks. We really thought we had like a natural recovery there, and then you can see it's really back to where it started. But once these guys got in, then they got out. But now we're back to this natural recovery here on KJP. Got to get some Zend in the treasury as well. How's Zen doing? Let's go take a look. $41K market cap. Yeah, look at that recovery there. Hopefully that 40K is a little bottom for Zen. That'd be nice. Nice little recovery. You see, this chart looks a lot more natural. You know, the root chart and the white CDJ chart are so herky jerky. This is just kind of waves. You know, it's kind of a. You know, you see these nice, and these just might be bots buying or whatever, but it just looks more natural, I guess. You know, so hopefully this pattern plays out. This is kind of a triangle falling wedge type situation. Would love to see something like that get back up to 60K. So what are we doing? I don't really have any Twitter spaces going on. Shout out to 8-bit 4-minute shillathon. Let's go shill some TreeRoot.
If you don't know of Lonely Frog Lambo Club, I pinned a tweet up top. Sorry about the dog. Hold on, because he's excited. He gets excited when I talk about the frogs. But if you don't know about this, here's the alpha. This project is one of the OGs. You can look it up in history when it was minted and all of that nonsense. But there's a lot of movement happening there. And my alpha for the day that I can share with everyone here is like, look into that project, do your own research, but the NFTs are real affordable, and not to shill, but it is a shill space, but it's alpha. So like, I'll share that alpha as an OG of look at those.
I can't do it. I can't hang. Sorry, guy. Oh man, that was annoying. Let's go take a look at deck screen. Are any charts popping off? It's kind of a boring time right now. Markets are on the dip. Everybody's wondering what the Fed's gonna do. There's all this fear now that they're not gonna cut rates in September. And J-Pow speaks, I think, Thursday or Friday. Jackson Hole. Yeah, look at Root. Making higher lows. That's beautiful to see. Back over 40K. Definitely had some big dips. That floor is crazy. That's just volume generation right there. That's wild. Nice. And honestly, it's kind of more like that. It's almost like it broke out and now it's retesting. Hopefully that's a good sign. We got Zend. Been drawing all these lines, and it did. That's funny. We drew that, and it did exactly that. That's hilarious. And I said if it gets above the 200, it's got to maintain that. Now that's kind of we are on the 5-minute. Let's look at the 15. Yeah, it's fallen below that 200 EMA. So I had that circled. I was saying it's got to get above that and hold it, and it looked like it was about to. Like it came up and it looked like it bounced and then it kind of stutter stepped. And now it's kind of back in this no man's land where it's just going to range again. Hopefully it gets a little boost. Or maybe it's doing one of these where it like, comes up like that. You can see how drastic that 200 moved. I mean, that thing turned. It went down to up. But now it's starting to phase down again. And when the 200, you can look at the 200, sometimes it's curving up and that's bullish, but when it's flat and it's curving down like that, that's not good. You can really make it obvious if you zoom in here, and now it's moving that way, which is average of the price. That's not, that means the recent price is moving that direction. KJP, just the ultimate manipulation, man. That sucks. It's so embarrassing. What the fuck? Like, I have nothing to say. We got Trench Kitty trying to maintain 125K. I saw something, they were waiting for some snipers to get out. They're waiting for some more sell-off. Before they did something. I don't know if they're going to be moving over to Bitcoin or doing something interesting like that. They do have this 15% wallet, so that's kind of interesting, but everything else looks pretty good. Kind of see, hopefully this is the bottom, but it depends what they come out with. I was watching the stream earlier and yeah, they're cool dudes. But, what are they going to do for the coin? We'll see. Should be a good one. It might come all the way back. As long as it holds 100K, I'll still be bullish on it. You know, if it goes below 100K, it's kind of like that's a big psychological level to get back above. You have to do a lot of work. Like if it does one of these, you can see like that would be very bullish. But if it goes below that 100K, it's really gonna have trouble getting above that. All the price actions up here, so you really want it to kind of set that value range low and then pop up like that. So that's the trench kitty, and then we got some fire chicken. It's really holding its new 100K low. It's a nice floor. Hopefully it can maintain. I know the market's been rough. I want to see what all the news is about. That's a bullish formation though. It's winding up here, getting tighter and tighter. About to make a move. Degen's doing its degen thing in this beautiful pattern here. Kind of like fire chicken. So eventually I think one day that'll break out of there, but it might take a couple months. Zencat 2 holding that 400K floor. That's beautiful. Anytime it falls in this box, I'm going to buy some more Zencat. So, you know, if it falls below this 475 all the way down to 300. Now, if it does break that 400, I might wait. I might wait till it comes back down to 250 instead of buying at 350, you know. But this is kind of the new floor right now. So anytime it falls in the zone, I'm going to be buying. Drax just consolidating. Soul's in too. Yeah. Hey, I'm curious. What's the latest news on Jerome Powell? Presidents once again slamming Powell, and rightfully so. Talking about the housing crisis. There's no inflation, and every sign is pointing to a major rate cut. He's destroying the housing market. Please tell too late. Too late, Powell. Yeah, let's see what this says.
Right, but I'd like Powell to, as we sit here today, the Fed funds futures market is pricing an 80% probability of a quarter point, a 25 basis point rate cut at the September meeting. That seems about right, but I'd like Powell to open the door for an even larger rate cut, because the truth is, he was wrong. He was wrong in March. He was wrong in May, wrong in June, wrong in July, not to lower rates because the tariff-induced inflation has not materialized. Since President Trump took office, inflation of the CPI variety has annualized 1.9%. That is not at the Fed's target, David. That's below the Fed's target. And so when my friend Bill Pulte, the U.S. Federal Housing Director, comes out and says that once again the Fed is hallucinating about the data, he is absolutely right. They should look at the real data in the real economy, do the right thing, and lower rates for once.
Now, you know what he's going to do. He's going to focus all of his attention on the PPI, saying that that's the real indicator, and the core there is what's driving us. Will that fly at all?
I don't think so. I don't think investors like ourselves, we're not going to buy that, because we don't buy the cherry-picking panicans like Jerome Powell. If you look at the July PPI numbers, 2/3 of the increase came from services. Yeah. Services are not being tariffed. Yes. And so it just doesn't line up with the facts and realities. I wish Jerome Powell would go up there and once in his life be humble and say he was sorry. Sorry to Americans for disappointing them by not lowering rates in line with the data. And I got to tell you the truth, David. Say sorry to the President of the United States. He started this this whole histrionic nonsense earlier this year about tariff this and tariff that, the inflation has not materialized. If you're data dependent as opposed to politically reactive, you will do the right thing at the press statement later this week in Jackson Hole and signal that a September rate cut is coming, and it would actually be larger than expected. The market is already pricing in a 25 basis point cut. Why not guide the market to an even larger amount?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's facts on both sides, but what are the actual facts, not the political facts?
Trump's first term, but I think that we go back to the 90s where we had good low inflationary growth, or back to President Trump's first term. But I think the real problem here is we're seeing some distributional aspects to the higher rates, as your earlier guest said, especially in housing and in for lower income households with high credit card debt. So we're seeing this big CapEx boom. Part of it's AI, part of it's the tax bill. And so CapEx is doing well, but households, home building is struggling. And you were asking me about
So basically, have all the Republicans begging Jerome Powell to cut the rates, but the real question is Jerome Powell
and what we're waiting for to reduce rates is to understand what will happen with really the tariff inflation, and there's a lot of uncertainty about that. Every forecaster you can name who is a professional forecaster with adequate resources and forecasts for a living is forecasting a pretty significant. Everyone that I know is forecasting a meaningful increase in inflation in coming months from tariffs, because someone has to pay for the tariffs, and it will be someone in that chain that I mentioned between the manufacturer, the exporter, the importer, the retailer, ultimately somebody putting it into a good of some kind, or just the consumer buying it. And all through that chain, people will be trying not to be the ones who pick up the cost, but ultimately the cost of the tariff has to be paid, and some of it will fall on the end consumer. We know that because that's what businesses say, that's what the data say from past. So we know that's coming, and we just want to see a little bit of that before we make judgments prematurely.
And follow up on that. So you spent years talking about how your data.
Yeah, they spend years talking about how they're data dependent, and now they need to see. Now they're making assumptions, even though the data says something different. Yeah, so that's interesting. So when is... All right, let's break out the Chat GPT. Ask some questions here. When is Jackson Hole speech by Jerome Powell? So it's Friday at 10 a.m. What do we expect the impact on markets to be? A gentle dovish signal, more cautious or hawkish lean. If Powell disappoints with the tempered tone, especially if expectations are aggressive, stocks could slide 7 to 15% by October. Expectations for aggressive cuts aren't met. So if Powell basically doesn't come out and say they're going to cut, they're just not, and that hopefully that's what he says. Oh, we're planning to cut. We're just not sure if it's 25 or 50 yet, and then hopefully they come out and cut 50. But even if they just say the word 50, that would be super bullish. How about for Bitcoin? Bitcoin's experienced profit taking ahead of Powell's remarks. price dips near 112 may attract buying, while rallies towards 120 are likely to face resistance. So basically, that's the big pullback in crypto right now, and everybody's hanging on Jerome Powell's word, and that's coming Friday at 10 a.m. So what is he going to say on Friday at 10 a.m.? Macro policy signals will be pivotal. Bitcoin's path likely depends on whether Powell takes a dovish tone or maintains a cautious stance. Jackson Hole's been the venue for critical statements that have shifted the direction of markets. Exactly. That was the big one 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago at this point, where they crashed everything. Neutral or hawkish tone may dampen. Use your data to make a prediction on what Powell will say. Powell will probably recognize that inflation has eased significantly, but will likely stress that the Fed is not yet declaring victory, keeping the door open. This sets balanced tone, not hawkish, so that would be good. Openness to cut rates, but cautiously. And this is the key right here. Powell may validate the idea that policy can adjust if inflation continues to moderate. What is he going to validate? We're prepared to adjust the stance of policy to support the economy as conditions evolve. That would be bad. Expect him to stop short of endorsing larger cuts. That's what we want. So GPT says that's probably not going to happen. Reinforce the data-dependent stance. Powell's certain to emphasize the decisions depend on incoming data on both inflation and employment. He may note whether inflation progress is clear. The labor market still bears watching, anchoring flexibility. Powell often highlights broader themes like I predict Powell will deliver a measured dovish speech, recognize inflation progress, hinting that cuts are coming, avoiding firm promises. So my question was, what about the idea that cost of goods imported are skyrocketing, and that's considering tariffs? Like, as we import things from China, that's going to get more expensive based on they have to cover the tariffs have to be covered, so someone's going to pay that cost. So costs are going to go up. But also, to make goods in the U.S., we still have to import things and pay this cost. So like, not only is importing things get more expensive, but also creating things that require things to be imported will also get more expensive. So my question is, what about this idea? What will Powell say? Because I know that that's what he's going to use if they say they're not going to cut rates, that's going to be why. You're picking up on real tension in the economic outlook that Powell will almost certainly address indirectly. Headline inflation's come down because energy supply chains and good prices eased. But beneath the surface, import costs are rising again, partly due to tariffs. Exactly. Domestic production costs are also climbing. So that's like the cost to hire people, to everything, underlying cost pressures remain even if CPI headline looks better. So basically, even though inflation's coming down, shit's still expensive. Powell's repeatedly drawn a distinction between headline inflation and core and services inflation. He'll probably acknowledge that cost pressures in trade and domestic production are a risk to the inflation outlook, but emphasize that the Fed's job is to watch whether those costs actually pass through into consumer inflation, expectations, and aggregate demand. The Fed can't control tariffs or supply bottlenecks, but it can ensure they don't and spark persistent inflation psychology. So we might say, while inflation is moderated, we'll remain attentive to risks from supply chains. too dovish. That sounds hawkish to me. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I could read this as cautious, dampening hopes for rapid cuts if Powell emphasizes upside risks. You put your finger on the Fed's biggest challenge. Falling headline inflation justifies easing. Rising structural costs risk of renewed inflation. So this is in essence of why Powell will almost certainly stick to measure data dependent message. Cut the rates. Yo, what's up, Tazhenian? What's up, Rolando? Welcome. Slow night, but we're just chilling. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen on Friday when Fed Chair Powell speaks at Jackson Hole, in if it's going to be bearish or bullish. Do you think there's actual political bias from Powell? Trump seems to think so. That's a sharp observation. Fed's dual mandate. Evidence suggests no clear political bias. Many argue Powell leans more toward institutional preservation than partisanship, but perception matters. But his opposers say he is not being data dependent now that the data suggests he should cut. Do you think that is accurate of them to say? So opponents say Powell's not being truly data dependent because headline and core inflation have fallen. Labor market shows signs of cooling and growth momentum is weakening. From this angle, the data itself points to easing, yet the Fed's holding back, which looks like lag or even politics. Monetary policy works with a delay. Good inflation has cooled, services remain sticky, PCE still above target. Expectation. If Fed cuts too early, the markets might assume a new easing cycle starting, loosening conditions prematurely. Is it fair to say he's ignoring data? Partially fair, yes. Inflation's come down and unemployment isn't spiking. A strict real-time data might justify a cut. The Fed doesn't only look at today's data. Okay. Why the tension exists, the Fed's risk management bias leans towards over-tightening rather than risking an inflation resurgence, which damages credibility. In other words, both sides are right depending on what data dependent means. No shit. I'd say it's not accurate to say Powell has abandoned data dependence, but it is accurate to say the Fed is putting more weight on risk management rather than on the latest data. The difference is emphasis on what fuels accusations or hesitation. Just trying to figure out what's gonna happen with my Bitcoin bags. Yeah, we're just chilling. We're live over on Pump Fun. We're on X. We're on YouTube. Not too much going on. Just talking to GPT about Jerome Powell. Nothing too exciting. Trying to figure out what he's going to say Friday. That's what's up with this huge market pullback right now. Is all markets are feeling it. They're wondering if he's going to be hawkish or dovish. You could say that hawkish being more strict is like bearish, where dovish is being more open and towards like a successful market, that'd be more bullish. So is he going to be hawkish or bearish or hawkish or dovish on Friday? We'll see. Key links between Powell and Bitcoin. Bitcoin trades as liquidity barometer. Higher rates as strong dollar hurts BTC. Lower rates, BTC boost on inflows. So if it is dovish and he hints at cuts, and even if he says 25, he doesn't even say 50, that would be considered dovish. Markets would see the September cut is locked in and it'd be bullish. Bitcoin could test 120K instantly. Just boom, right back up. If he's neutral, he doesn't talk about the cuts. He's just saying he's data dependent and they're going to wait and see. Nothing will change. It'll just be more sideways chop. Hopefully we hold 110. Yeah, that'd be nice. Maybe altcoins just chill out too. Hawkish would be like, oh, inflation, cost of goods are going up, markets repricing everything, USD. The USD dominance chart will shoot way up. That'd be bearish. Hopefully we hold 110, maybe retest 105 to 108. That would suck. That would be bad. We would just basically erase all the gains that we've done for the last 2 or 3 months. It's just like back to where we were a couple months ago. It's more sideways. So what's happening right now? Bitcoin's at 110, 115 rather. Implied volumes at 2-year lows. Market's complacent. And I'm seeing that on stream. I mean, normally we have like 10, 20, 30 people in here. And for the first half of this stream, I was talking to myself. Not only on YouTube, but also on Pump Fun. Like nobody, and I know Bruh mentioned it earlier. He thought his stream was broken because nobody's watching crypto right now. It's just like everything's quiet. It's kind of weird. It's kind of spooky. Volume is extremely low. And it's just high manipulation. All kinds of shit's going down. This means BTC is coiled like a spring. I keep saying that in the charts. It's coiled like a spring. Speech could be the spark. Powell's unlikely to be super hawkish, but he's also unlikely to greenlight for 50. If he greenlights for 50, that'd be amazing. So that's what's going on this week with the markets. That's why Bitcoin, pretty much everything is pulling back heavily. Ever since the thought that imports and cost to make goods locally or domestically are increasing. Unfortunately, we lost this trend. Now we do still have this uptrend here. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still kind of a bullish chart, especially here. I mean, if you look at this on the daily chart, we didn't even make a lower low here. So if this can just hang out for, another day, maybe have like a, hug this line here and then off to the races again, that'd be it depends what Powell says on Friday. So where's the Friday candle? Thursday, Friday. An alt V. Yeah, so that white line there, that's Saturday. Yeah, so we'll see what happens when we get to that white line on Friday. If we fall through, I might set some stop losses there. Looks like we're having a nice little green evening though. That's kind of cool. Aerodrome with the green candle, Doge with the green candle. Things opening after 2 very bearish days. Things are opening up a little bit, but we'll see. 9 in the morning, market's open. Could be some major downside. Zendit sitting at 41K. We got TreeRoot at 41K. Doing its little sideways dance here, coiling up. Cool to see this nice little collection of live streams we got over on our coin page. It's awesome. Shout out to the 2 watchers on YouTube, the 4 watchers on Pump. That's about it. Let's see, we got any like Zen spaces going on? Switch over to the TreeCity West. Books, 8-bit. not much going on. Everything's kind of dead. The biggest space has 200 people in it. That's just wild. Nobody wants to talk about crypto. Nobody wants to do anything right now. I wonder if I could show off the... Did make some updates for the new page. I wonder if it's working. Let's see. So this is the new thing we're working on for TreeRoot and the Root Guardians. This is going to be the private site for the holders. Damn it doesn't look like it's working. Getting some cores errors. What about this whale radar? This is the new thing. Scanning the depths for whales. Is it gonna work? I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah. Maybe we'll end the stream a little early, and I'll go work on the. But the general idea here is, if you're holding some root, you're holding Root Guardians, you'll be able to see this. We'll probably have like a little message board, like a little links to private Discord, maybe Telegram, but it's gonna have detailed analytics about the Xolana ecosystem and specifically like wallets and holders. And you'll be able to see wallets that hold multiple projects and which projects have the most cross token holder wallets, and you know, all these different kind of metrics, and there's a whole cross token matrix that's pretty cool. So, but to see this information about the Xolana network, you'll have to be a root holder or a root guardian holder. So excited to do that. Not sure what that's going to look like yet, but we're still building. It'll probably take a couple more weeks. I can't do it right now just because I have all the API keys and stuff exposed. So we'll get that fixed, and then I'll be able to vibe code some more with that. But let's go take a look. Yeah, things are looking good. How's Dex Screener looking? Anything crazy? So check this out. This is kind of a fun little exercise to do. You know, occasionally you see those tweets where it talks about like a Dex Screener filter, so you can identify the best meme coins. I like to go to ChatGPT and just tell it to make a filter for me. So create a filter to find the hottest meme coins created in the last 2 to 3 days from Dex Screener using their, what is it called? Using their filters, I guess we'll say. So we'll navigate to the new pairs. Use a lower bound greater than 100K. So we need to find volume greater than 100K. Transactions greater than 100 transactions or 1,000. Be more specific. So age 0 to 72. Liquidity is 1,000. Market cap max 10 million. 6-hour volume to it's interesting. So this filter should give us coins that have enough liquidity to trade, high transaction counts, 100K in daily volume, and are still trending up in the last 1 to 6 hours. What do we got here? So let's see, let's take a look. What are the actual numbers? So I feel like 1K or 100K volume's a little low. So let's go 250K volume. The profile. Dex paid. We still have over 100. That's crazy. So let's go 10K LP. So I'm just going to take a screenshot and see what ChatGPT thinks. Yeah, we're just dicking around looking at meme coins. Maybe we'll buy something. Yeezy's money, volts, horny. I mean, horny is pretty funny, right? That's a pretty stupid fucking name. Yeah, it's already rugged. Yeezy money. What kind of chart is that? Ugh. So here are some that are red. So we got Voltix AI. Awful token sniffer. That's not good. Azenian, welcome. Contains signature of serial scammer. All right, so we don't want Voltix. How about dark? 1 million market cap. Before there was light, there was dark. No issues. It's interesting. This sounds cool. I'm gonna buy some. How old is this? 15 hours. It's like the exact top. Sounds like an awful idea. I like that mysteriousness though. The darkness rewards those who embrace it. Where there's light, there is dark. Should we buy some light and some dark? So this is that Heaven Dex thing. I think I saw Bra post about this earlier. Okay, so there's light, there's horny, there's halo, there's dark. Gotcha. So we're on to a new meta of Heaven.xyz. Has a really nice holder distribution. Should we launch one? So the gray. I kind of like gray. Is there a gray token already? Yeah, there is. Motherfuckers. Twilight. Penumbra. Chiaroscuro. What does that mean? Umbral. Murk. Murk. Liminal. The Veil. I think Penumbra. Right. Now that I know, tell me about having that XYZ. The final launch pad. Heaven is a full-stack automated market maker and launchpad built on Xolana, designed as dedicated space to incubate great ideas from meme tokens to projects. Closed container, every token traded via automated market maker must be lost through its launchpad. The God Flywheel. $55% of the token supplies is in circulation, while the rest unlocks gradually, supported by the flywheels. Okay. Interesting. The God Flywheel. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not interested anymore. Oh, it's already off of our list. We got Memes Protocol, we got Fly, we got Sadie Winters on Pump Fun. No, she's a meme coin. $100K. I feel like this could run. This is on Pump Fun, yeah. This links to a TikTok though. There's some shit out here. Radioactive shrimp. Fly. Memes protocol. What's memes protocol? Definitely looks like a meme. Definitely looks like a meme chart. What's crazy is it looks like that and it's still a 300K market cap. So what's their website? A network of AI-powered agents born from internet culture. Each memes agent thinks, adapts, and acts across digital spaces. Autonomous, chaotic, and always online. Oh, so these haven't even... So that's when they're gonna rug. 4 days. We'll be rugged. All right, guys, I'm running out of gas. We've been going for about an hour. Any other shitters out here? Show me. Ugh. Ugh. Ugly. Ugly. Getting the live stream dump. Yeah, so what are we gonna do, guys? Yep. I'm probably gonna go hop off now. Kind of a slow night. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully I have some more entertaining content, but we're just kind of chilling here. Probably gonna go work on the Xolana website and get some things going for Root. If you could, definitely head over to TreeRoot.Dev on Twitter. Retweet the Root Guardian launch my NFT link. We're currently at 80.18%, 712 out of 888. Actually, I wanted to mint a couple for the project before it's over with. I think we have 3 currently. So I want to do 2 more, so we have 5 in the treasury total. So we're gonna mint 2, and then I'm gonna call it. So we're minting these live on stream. And that puts us up to 714 out of 888. What do we get? Let's see. What did we get? Ooh, that's sick with the chain. Damn, I wish that was mine. Look at that fucking chain. That's cool. And we got the shades guy. Yeah, we'll be giving those two away. All right, well, let's keep the mint going. We're coming up on 200 on the public sale. Shout out to the Fire Chicken guys. And once we get to 888, the staking of the NFTs will start. So, as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for anyone who came and hung out, or you're watching it on the replay. We will be back tomorrow. We're gonna keep this grind going, even if I am talking to one or two people. Shout out to you guys, Rolando and Tazenian. Hope you guys stay zen. Peace.